Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Wholesale Real Estate Investing Show by SAHA, number 261 we're on now, and just want to write this. Okay. Yes. Can't do two things at once. Sorry, apologize for that. Yes, here we are on June 6, 2016, negotiation new op day once again with the, like I said, the Wholesale Real Estate Investing Show number 261 by SAHA. And yes, it's been a while. Last session, we did not have a single show. My bad. Apologies to all of you. Last new op day, I was preparing to travel and I just totally forgot, and then whatever reason, I don't know why, coming back last session, coming back to getting back into the swing of things, I just had some sleep fest action going on, and I didn't even wake up till after 8 o'clock. Just no time to prepare and get ready and do the things. A lot of catching up to do, and that, like I said, no excuses, just letting you know what happened. And apologizing for not giving you advanced warning on that, because really I had no idea that I was not going to be I was going to be sleeping so much. But anyway, here we are. We're back in the saddle again on a negotiation new op day, where, as always, we talk about the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because this is your sales Bible. This is how you advance in the world of wholesale real estate. Everything that we do, we always say a lot of times, real estate equals relationships, and this book is all about how to build relationships. I mean, win friends and influence people. And so today's show, Where's the Captain? I think we're lost, is a reflection of the fact that, yeah, for the last session, we weren't there. And in fact, the last show that we had here was all the way back on new op day of May on the 23rd. So it was 2 weeks ago today that we held our last show. I missed a Thursday and Friday, that session as well too. So been a long time coming. I think we're lost. Yeah, kind of. Everybody, we're studying this book chapter by chapter, and here we are 6 weeks down the road. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to do a little bit of a recap today on where we left off, which was part 3 of the book, which is, I don't even know myself, it's been so long. Part 3 of this book is how to win people to your way of thinking. Again, if you are in wholesale real estate and you are wanting to purchase a property from a seller, do you think that winning them over into your way of thinking might be beneficial to your ability to not only get a contract, but to get a contract at a really great price? These skills just might come in handy, guys. I'm telling you, this book is everything in this business. I mean, it's everything that you do. It's everything that you need to do to be successful. And this book is an outline on how to do it right, how to be successful at doing this part. So that's the purpose for our new updates. That's the purpose. That's the reason why we go through this book. It is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it was written all the way back in the 30s or something like that, but it is still relevant today. In fact, it's probably even more relevant today in a society where people are, sort of afraid of the big bad world out there. And especially since they're so afraid of the big bad world out there, now we live in, like, as I may have mentioned this before, the golden age of skepticism and cynicism. People are adamant about not wanting to believe anyone, what they say, what they do, all of these things, so you have a big hurdle to get over in speaking with people, in working and trying to get a wholesale real estate deal. You got a big hurdle to get over, and that's their cynicism and their skepticism about you about what you do, about your offer, about everything. So this book is so powerful in helping you to overcome that biggest #1 objection and hurdle, and that's their doubt about everything. Okay. So our last show is titled, if you want to win the conversation, get yourself a case of laryngitis. And the reason why it was titled that, it's chapter 6 in part 3. It's called The Safety Valve in Handling Complaints. And I'm just going to, like I said, do a little bit of a recap today so we can kind of get caught back up. I'm going to go back to my notes from last week here, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, 2 sessions ago, even better. So I'm just going to kind of run through, redo what we did last time. The biggest mistake, in trying to win people into your way of thinking, #1, is when you do all the talking, okay? The secret is to let them talk themselves out. That's the secret. See, when you, just trying to look to see if there's something in here. I don't know where I got that from. But anyway, see, if you do all the talking, anything that you say, oh, I know where I got this from. I got this from a, excuse me, from my marketing studies about testimonials, about having, your clients tell your story for you. See, because when you, whatever you say to the person who's listening, it's all just a claim. But when you've got your clients telling your story for you, your satisfied clients are saying the same thing, same exact thing that you would say, now it's a fact to the person who's listening. So when you say it, it's just a claim. I claim that we can do this. But when someone else is saying it for you, it's now a fact. So that's a powerful thing. That's a powerful transition. And in such, so when you don't have, and you know what, you should have some testimonials from some people when you're negotiating with a seller. So, hey, look at somebody in your situation. Here's what they said about what we did for them. Let them read some testimonials. If you got a video, show them a quick little video of a testimonial on your phone. Powerful stuff. Let the other people speak for you. Along with that, if you're starting out and you don't have that, you don't have a testimonial because you haven't done anything for anybody yet, that's fine. But don't sit there and spew out all your claims, because all your claims in their mind, there's a doubt that goes along with each and every one of those claims. So you want to be letting them talk themselves out as much as possible. All right. In any negotiation, the person that's going to win that negotiation is the one that does 20% of the talking, not the one that does 80% of the talking. So do you want to be doing most of the talking, or do you want them to be doing most of the talking? Exactly. You want them to be doing most of the talking. And obviously, we've talked about this before. You do that with questions. You also do it by listening intently and sincerely, okay? While they're talking, don't be thinking about the next question that you're going to be asking them to move on from what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying, and out of what they're saying, formulate the next question that's going to continue them talking about what they're talking about and get them, to bring up or bring out a little bit more of an in-depth version of what they're talking about. Let them expose more about that subject. If it's a pertinent subject, of course. If it's not a pertinent subject, then of course you still want to acknowledge what they said. That's a very important thing. If if you asked a question and they give you a 30-second answer, and you don't acknowledge that answer and you just jump right into the next question, and I don't mean acknowledge that answer by oh, thank you for that information, blah blah blah, which that applies sometimes, but even if you just repeat what they said, you know, and even if you only repeat a piece of it, that lets them know that you're sincere, that you're actually listening to what they're saying, that it's, you know, that you're just not a piece in front of them who's, you know, only wants what they want. You're actually caring about them and their thoughts. So let them talk it out. Expand upon what they're saying if you possibly can by asking a question that elaborates, allows them to elaborate on the same subject. Or if you don't need any more information out of that particular subject matter from that question or an answer, then before moving on to the next question, acknowledge what they said, repeat what they said. Okay, so from what it sounds like here, blah, 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 yada, 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 then, and then roll that into your next question. So then would that be fair? So then would it be fair to say that blah, 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 and then you can ask your next question, you know? So would it then be fair to say that, you know, if you were to do all this work on this house, it's probably going to cost you quite a bit of cash. Do you have any idea, you know, what it might cost, right? So you're saying, you know, so Joe, what you're telling me here is that, you know, you want to get the most money out of your house, and I can certainly understand that, but that it does need a lot of work. You got the blah blah, you got the this, you got the that, you got these, you know, everything over here you talked about, all these things that need to be repaired. And it sounds like, you know, if you were going to be doing that yourself, that it's going to cost you quite a bit of money. Do you have any idea, you know, what that might run? I've acknowledged him. He knows I was listening to him. He sees that I heard what he said. And now it rolls him right into another conversation. He's more than eager to say, well, you know what, I've actually kind of looked into it a little bit, but I haven't really gotten any estimates or nothing like that. But I do know that, you know, just guessing, and I'm thinking it's probably going to run 30 grand. Right. Okay. Gotcha. 30 grand. That's kind of about the number I was thinking, you know, et cetera, and so on. And you keep the conversation rolling that way, but always listen intently and sincerely, you know, and encourage them to express their ideas fully. And of course, do that by asking questions and let them, you know, this is a big one here too. This is another one. Let them tell you a thing or two, right? Let them, especially if they start to complain about something, or if they start to, you know, bemoan the price of things, or whatever it is, if they start going into a negative something or other, let them go, baby. That's a great thing. Let them go. Let them get that out. And here's especially where you want to listen intently, because you want to find out what it is that their hangups are, that their doubts are, that their you know, worries and fears and all those things are. This is where they're telling you when they start complaining about the stuff. These are all the things that they're worried about. This is gold, baby. You know, you start hearing about what it is that they're complaining about, and you can start resolving those fears, eliminating those doubts, you know, subsiding those worries. This is winning people over to your way of thinking. Now, you know, oh, well, you know, hey, I don't know if that, whatever. And you're like, oh, you know what, in all actuality, Joe, you know, like, you know, I don't know if that process, God, that's going to be a whole hassle. Well, you know what, Joe, here's the thing. That whole process right there, that's one of the things that we do for people. You know, we're going to take care of 99% of that for you. I mean, you're not even going to have to worry about it. We'll do all the work. We'll say, here's how it is. This is how it lays out. What do you think? Sounds good. Okay, sign this. We'll make sure that it happens. You know, those are the types of things that we do. You know, something along those lines. Like I said, you know, this gives you the opportunity when they start complaining about something. You got to let them go. You got to let them talk it out. You got to help them, encourage them. You know, that's where it goes back to encourage them to express their ideas fully. You really got to let them talk it out. And as they're doing it now, even along the way, you know, you can just ask them a little question. Well, you know what, Joe, how do you think that would work if you ended up doing that? You know, and now they're all worried about it. And then, you know, boom. Or if we were able to get all that done for you, how would that feel for you? So now they've expressed their worry, and now you've just said, well, if we were able to get all that done for you, how would that feel for you? So now he's talking himself right out of that worry and right into, and he's the one doing the talking now, right into, oh, well, you guys could do, all that stuff, and I didn't have to deal with all that. That would be huge. There's value in them thinking that what you do is huge, right? With them thinking what you do is huge equals discount on price, discount on price. Yeah, the more value you can deliver, the more valuable you can present yourself as being to them, the more that's worth to them, the more of a discount you can get from them. Okay? And of course, no matter how much you want to, and trust me, this is not hard, this is not easy to do, but no matter how much you want to, when they're talking about something, especially when you hear something come out of their mouth that that's wrong, that just ain't right. Do not interrupt them. Do not interrupt them. Let them fully express their thought and idea. Even if it's totally wrong and you just want to jump in right then and there and correct them. No, that's not the way it is. It doesn't work that way. Let them get it all out. Powerful that you don't cut them off, because if you interrupt their thinking and their thoughts, the thing is, you interrupted them. They weren't done yet, and they're not going to pay a lick of attention to what you have to say. It doesn't matter if you're telling them how come that's wrong and that this is the right way and that your way is the right way, because they're not listening. They're still thinking about what they didn't get to say. Okay? They're not hearing anything you're talking about. So it's just a waste of your time, really, to interrupt them when they're in the middle of a thought or an idea. Let them finish. It's powerful. So when I say get yourself a case of laryngitis, we spoke about how there was a story in the book here about how this kind of work for your teenagers too. Not just this is just a little personal side thing here, but in story number 2, the lady talks about her daughter, and how they started growing apart and not listening, and everything's a battle, and everything that she tells her daughter to do, she does the exact opposite, and all these things, and how this just went on and on and on until she just got so tired of trying to fight it that one night when her daughter snuck out or something like that, and then she comes home later, and just as she's about to rip into her again, she's just like, why bother? She's just like, why, daughter, why? And the daughter just like opens up and says, well, do you really want to know? She's like, yeah, I'd really like to know. And so right then and there, daughter has free rein now to start talking, and she like airs it all out, and it all boils down to the fact that I never get a chance to talk. You don't listen to me. You're always just telling me what I have to do. And from that point on, I mean, the whole relationship changed. They started growing closer back together by allowing, her daughter comes to her and tells her everything that's going on. She doesn't even have to ask. She just comes and she tells her about it. They work out the problems. It was awesome. So letting the other person talk themselves out, powerful stuff. You talked about a French philosopher who says, if you want enemies, excel your friends. And if you want friends, let your friends excel you. What he meant by that was, you don't want to outdo people, right? They have a resentment to that. Especially, if you're talking about wholesale real estate, a seller here, you don't want to outdo them with your knowledge. You want to let them express all of their knowledge. and help them to maybe see where some of their knowledge has gone wrong, but you don't want to outdo them. You don't want to just be like, that's wrong. This is how it actually works, yada, yada, yada. You want to let them excel you. What? That's wrong. You know what, Joe? What you just said there, what do you think might happen if this situation came up? And then they would say, oh, well, gosh, if that came up, then what I just said wouldn't work. So that's a powerful thing right there. They just told themselves why they were wrong. You didn't tell them. They told themselves why they were wrong. That's kind of how this whole chapter works. Okay, the safety valve and handling complaints. It's a powerful chapter. You guys need to read it. So the next chapter that we're going to be getting into is called How to Get Cooperation. Oops, I just forgot one thing. The principle from chapter 6 is let the other person do a great deal of the talking. As I said, the person that wins any conversation is the one who speaks only 20% of the time. The one who loses the conversation is the one that does most of the talking. That's what you need to remember. Let those people talk themselves out. Let them do a great deal of the talking, and you just encourage them to do so. Encourage, encourage, encourage. Keep them going. So chapter 7, moving on for getting prepared for next session, is called How to Get Cooperation. Now, I haven't read this chapter yet. Well, I haven't read it to prepare for this. I've read this whole book once. And once was enough for me to say, all right, we need to study these principles and techniques and master these principles and techniques if we want to become successful negotiators. And not only just with sellers. These principles in this book, as I said in the beginning, real estate equals relationships, okay? You have relationships with more than just sellers. And wholesale real estate, obviously, you've got relationships with buyers too. So when you have a buyer now who comes, who you send a property to, and they come back with, an offer of, a significantly lower price for whatever reason, you can either just accept it, or if you have these principles, the skills, built inside of these principles and techniques, there's a very good way that you might be able to draw out from this buyer, what their skepticism and their cynicism is about your price, why they think that that they can only pay X amount of dollars, and maybe there's some things that you can point out to them, or maybe there's some things that you can direct them into understanding that, hey, there's a little bit more value in here. Maybe you're not going to be able to get them all the way up to the price that you asked, which you probably shouldn't even try, because you probably have it priced a little higher than what you hope to get. So, but if you can get them to come actually up a little bit closer, let's say you have the price, the property, priced at $110,000 because you really want 105, and they said I can only pay 100, right? With these skills, maybe you can actually get them to come up to say 103, 104. You're like, hey, sold, man, it's all yours. Great job. You got a great deal here. You really wanted 105. You only settled for $1,000, $1,500 discount. I can deal with that all day long, right? If you know your numbers, right? If you know your numbers from the beginning, you can deal with that kind of a discount, no problem whatsoever. So, how to get cooperation. I think that would be a good thing. People to cooperate with you. So what is the principle of this chapter? How to get cooperation. It's let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. Okay. Without reading the book here, I'm not even going to look at the first paragraph, because that's what gives it all away usually. So if you can make the other person feel like the idea is theirs, you think they'd be a little cooperative? I mean, if it's your idea, are you going to, cooperate with its production, with its manifestation, with the creation of that idea, with making it happen? You're going to be excited about getting it done if it's your idea and the other person agrees? Hey, yeah, that's a great idea you've got there. I think we should do that. You think they're going to be like, oh, awesome. He likes my idea. Yeah, let's do that. Of course they are. It's their idea. If it's your idea, if you tell that person, hey, you know what? I think we should do this. First thing they're going to think of. They're not going to think about, wow, that was my idea. He's right. We should do that. No, now it's not their idea anymore. Now it's your idea. Now they're going to be like, well, I don't know. Maybe that's not the best thing. What if we do this? I mean, automatically, they're just going to automatically go to the negative of, well, that idea is not real. That's not any good. That's not my idea. That's your idea. Even if it was their idea in the first place, they just didn't get a chance to get it out first, right? So making the other person feel like it's their idea, that's a really, really big and powerful concept and principle here. So that's what we'll be getting into next New Op Day. And we're getting fairly close to the end of this book. We're starting page 175, and there's still another basically about 100 pages to go. So I don't know how long we've been actually covering the chapters in this book. It's been months. Has it been since the first of the year? I don't know. I'm going to have to look back and see that. I mean, is it going to take us all year to get through this book? I don't think so. But is it worth taking the time to go chapter by chapter through this book, review it, study it, understand these principles and techniques, apply them in our lives, experiment with them, use them, and see how they work on people and become better with dealing with people? I think yes, 100%. And that's obviously why we're here doing this, because we believe that. So everybody, that's going to be the end of our show today. I want to thank you all for showing up today. I want to, welcome you all back. Welcoming me back, I hope. We'll be back here on New Op Day. We'll be back on schedule here. Although, just in advance, just want to let you guys know, there is times when skipping our New Op Day, Wednesday or Friday show is an unavoidable situation that we cannot give you any warning on. So that is going to happen every once in a while. Gosh, a tickle in my nose. I think it's for the pepper. That is going to give, that is going to happen every once in a while. So if you ever come here at 8:30 and we're not here, give it a couple of minutes, because sometimes it's just Google. I've definitely had a number of issues over the year or so that we've been doing these hangouts where Google just gives us an unforeseen problem that particular day, and sometimes it takes us up to 10 minutes to actually get into and start the show. Gosh, sorry about that. My nose is, I think it's from the pepper off of my avocado sandwich, the toast there. But so give us a few minutes at least. If you come here at 8:30 expecting to have a show, give us a few minutes. If by 10 minutes after we're not on, we're not coming on. Okay? So just know that. Expect that can happen every now and then, and that if we have to skip a show by 10 minutes after 8, or by 8:40, if we're not on the air, we're not coming on the air, and you can move on with your day. All right? Oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. And that is to be successful in wholesale real estate, to master the principles of this book, and to become a person who knows how to handle people and work with people and deal with people and win them over to their way of thinking. Everybody make it a great New Op Day. We'll see you back here on Wisdom Wednesday for some more golden nuggets worth of wholesale real estate information.